Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of the Together We Grow podcast. My name's Paul Main,
And I'm Tamer Main.
and we welcome you along today. This particular episode, we're going to talk about how to build real engagement on social media, aren't we?
We are. We're not going to talk about, we're going to talk about how to build a real audience, not just followers and likes and people that aren't that interested in your brand, but real loyal engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. The stuff that actually makes a difference to your business and doesn't just give you some vanity metrics, because that's the problem with social media these days. Okay, so I think we've got quite a bit to talk about. So, shall we dive in?
Let's go straight in.
Okay, so I think with social media, we have this. I mean, a lot of people post on Instagram and Facebook and things like that all the time. They spend a lot of time creating this content because it's important. It is important.
And I understand they need to post.
That's right, yeah. But I think you need to work out what it's actually doing for the business as well, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can post all day, every day, but if you're not getting that engagement, more importantly, getting those views on your profile and then links through to your website or whatever it is, then it's not really going to be doing anything, is it?
No, and just getting likes and getting new followers doesn't mean anything if they're not the right audience either.
No, that's it. And I feel that sometimes people, optimize their posts and things for likes and
Mm-hmm.
not really for the things that matter, which is clicking through to your profile, clicking through to emails and things like that. Because when I say clicking through to emails, I mean going through to your website and then, entering their email address for a no-brainer offer that we
Yeah.
talk about a lot, because that's obviously the key thing. That's that's the thing here with social media is, let's take Instagram. I think a lot of what we're talking about here is going to be Instagram based, plus a bit of Facebook as well. When a cold audience, when someone finds your Instagram profile, or they see one of your reels in their feed or something like that, the job of that reel is to capture their imagination, capture their attention, encourage them to click through to your profile and have a look at what you're doing, and then encourage them to click onto the link in your bio,
Mm-hmm.
which will take them through to your website. Chances are they're not going to buy there and then, because that's not really how it works. You will get the odd one to do that. But ultimately, what you want them to do then is join your email list. And you do that through a no brainer offer,
Mm-hmm.
a free gift with their first order or something like that, don't you?
Yeah, you do. So when they see your reel, first you've captured their imagination, their attention, and they've stopped scrolling, and then they've clicked through to your profile. But so your profile has to be optimized as well, doesn't it? It's not just the content that you're sharing on your social media channel. Your whole channel needs to be set up so that people do click through to that no-brainer offer, like you say as well. So
Exactly.
your bio has to be all set up properly.
Absolutely right. Yeah. And we've got stuff about that. We
Hmm.
do have a product called the Instagram Kickstart Kit, which it's only £29.
Yep.
It's through the homefragrance.academy website. If you go in there and you'll find it, and it gives you a guide on how to optimize your Instagram. It gives you strategies on how to actually get your next 100 engaged followers. And
Gives you a
also,
content plan as
it
well.
gives you a content plan and it gives you templates as well. So there's lots to be getting on with there. Okay, so we know now that we want to use Instagram and things to drive traffic to your website and to build that community around your products, around your brand. You'll probably find now, if you're listening to this, you'll probably find you've got a number of people that always engage on your posts. Yeah. What we want to do here is to get more people like that, more people that will continue to engage on your posts. And this is all coming at a really good time actually, because let's talk about us here at Home Fragrance
Hmm.
Academy. We use Instagram. Instagram is a key thing for us, isn't it, for
It is.
driving traffic to our website. And what we've realised now, and actually, funny enough, you had an email about this, didn't you, or a message about this not too long ago, is that our followers, they don't want their competitors to see that they use us, the Home Fragrance Academy,
Yeah.
which is really quite strange, isn't it? But I get it to some extent.
Yeah, I can understand it as well because people don't want other people to know what their secrets are. They don't want to know
Yeah,
how they're growing and what they're doing and what they're using
yeah,
because they want to use it exclusively themselves. They don't want to be telling their competition that, hang on, if they're liking their posts and they're commenting on their posts,
yeah.
that means they're doing something well. So I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna become a member and I want to grow as well.
Exactly. So, and because of that, we have quite a lot of followers. Bear in mind, we're in a small niche. You know, we're
Mhm.
we're not serving the general public. We're serving people that start home fragrance businesses.
Yeah.
Our followers are not bad at all. But you've been working very hard on our engagement over the past few weeks, and that's now starting to increase. But more importantly, it's our profile views and the links through
Mhm.
to our website, which is
That's you were looking at that literally last night, weren't you?
yeah, and that's really quite impressive actually compared
Mm.
to when we had Cozy Aromas, and that was 20 odd thousand
Mhm.
followers. You know, this is really quite impressive. And of course, when they link through to our website, first of all, on our Instagram page, we have a offer for them, a no-brainer offer, which in our case is a free guide on how to get sales this week.
Yeah.
They click that link, they go through to that, they enter our email list, and then they receive that guide. And when they're in that email list, obviously we'll try and convince them to purchase something from us over time. So it works. It really does work. And a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about here, especially when we get to the engagement side of things, in terms of you performing engagement on other posts, is something you actively do, isn't it? So
Yeah.
okay, so shall we go through this list then? I mean, you're the one that really
Yeah.
does a lot of our engagement and social media side of stuff here. So
Yeah.
over to you. You can start running through this.
Okay. So, first off, this episode was requested by one of our members, Celicia Moodley. So, this episode is specifically for you. So, thank you for the suggestion. Okay, so on our notes here, stop posting just to post. So, don't just keep posting single images of your product. Essentially, is what I'm thinking along that this lines. Is we see a lot of companies who just post perfect pictures of their candles, for instance, and while you want to have a few of those images, having your whole feed look aesthetically perfect doesn't always reach the right audience, does it?
Yeah, and I think what we're saying here is you want to post with intention,
Mm.
and it's not. So what we mean is don't just post because you haven't posted today. Don't just post because oh crikey, I forgot to do that today. I better let's just quickly put this up. Okay, you want to have a strategy in place, and you know when you are just posting generic content, so just cut out images of your candles or just a bar of wax, which doesn't mean anything to anybody, by the way. And so many home fragrance companies do this. They'll just post a picture of a bar of wax, um, just like filler content, really. It doesn't inspire anyone. That kind of stuff, that's when you'll notice engagement will drop. And instead, you should really focus on providing value to your audience, introduce your personality a bit, and make sure that conversation starts as well.
Exactly. With the what can you do? What can you show your audience that they can use your products to do? How they can get the best out of your products? Things like that. So it's not just an individual picture of a wax melt. It could be a reel of using the wax melt and different ways to get the best out of it, couldn't it?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
tips.
Exactly. It's not, let's say you're trying to sell a particular product, a wax melt, have a reel of, oh, sorry, have a series of reels on tips of how to remove the wax from your warmer.
Mhm.
You might be able to think of 5 different ways of doing that. So create a reel for each one of those things,
Which is exactly what we did with Cozy
and then
Aromas.
create a carousel for each one of those things, and then do a
Mm.
single image for each one of those things. So for that one topic there, you've got 15 pieces of
Mhm.
content. Okay, and that's you can schedule that up over the course of 2 months, one a week, something like that, and then you can that's one piece of content a week. Now you've got 6 more other pieces of
Mhm.
content to do. Then you think of another topic that you want to do, and if it's a particular fragrance that you want to highlight, then create a reel around that fragrance, a carousel, a single image. Do that in different different types as well. So if you're creating let's say, I don't know, let's say it's rose flavor scented wax melt, you could do two, three, four different reels on that,
Mm-hmm.
where you can be face onto the camera, talking about it, showing the thing, and explain what the fragrance is like. Make it compelling. You can do a Q&A on it. You could do a nice picture of it set up in your in a room. You can do a carousel where each slide is a particular fragrance note, and the image is an image of that product being used in a different way, being taken out of the packaging, being snapped, being poured, being labeled, all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So when you really think about it, that's how you can create that engaging content as well, isn't it? And asking questions, starting conversations with people, asking what their favourite things are, asking them to vote on things,
You can, especially on Instagram, you can use polls in your posts as well, so that you can encourage engagement that way. See
Yeah.
if have you tried this fragrance yet, and then you can say yes, I love it, or no, it's on my wish list.
So okay, I didn't know that you can do polls inside posts.
Well, when you're actually doing it on Instagram itself, yes.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean we don't do that ourselves, so maybe that's
Mm.
something we should do. Um, we do that a lot in stories, don't we?
We do, yeah. Stories is a very useful place to be able to
So
gather feedback.
the reason I'm assuming the reason we don't do that, and this might be a point to mention for other people as well,
Hmm.
is because we make the content outside of Instagram
Hmm.
and schedule it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Instagram, you can do the polls for engagement on the posts if you post directly from Instagram. So we have done it in the past where we've scheduled reels and things through Instagram because we were testing to see whether they would get more engagement doing it through there or doing it through the app that we use later, but that we didn't notice any engagement difference, so we continued to use later because we could schedule further ahead.
Okay, but doing it through Instagram itself give you additional functionality for boosting engagement, yeah?
It does now with the polls.
Okay, so if we created a post or if someone created a post on Instagram and put a poll on it, they could then still schedule it from Instagram.
Yeah,
Okay,
but you can only schedule up to it's only last time I did it on Instagram, it was 2 months ahead.
okay, well that's quite significant, isn't it?
Mm.
So I think firstly we should do those,
Mm.
and other people should do those as well. Try these different functionalities that you have in Instagram. And this is how you're going to build engagement and build conversation starters, and also
Hmm.
not worry too much about, or not panic too much about how you're going to create this content. We call this pillar content, don't we?
Yeah.
Where you have a particular subject like how to remove wax from a wax warmer. That's your pillar piece of content. You can create multiple reels, multiple all sorts of stuff. But a blog post, you can create a long form video for YouTube, whatever you want.
Hmm.
Sit down, think about all these different pillar pieces of content, and then how you can create individual posts from that. And that makes it easy, doesn't it?
It does make it a lot easier, and it takes some of the stress away as well because you think, oh, what on earth am I going to post this month? But if you take a bit of pillar content, spread it out, you've made a massive difference, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. So that's your point one, isn't it? Which is, stop posting just to post.
Hmm.
You're actually posting with intention. You've got a message you want to get through. You want to build that engagement, ask questions, get feedback, offer value and help. That's how you do that.
Hmm. And point two is use the 3-to-1 rule of engagement. So, 3 non-sales posts, so relatable posts, behind the scenes, tips, and then 1 sales post. So, this will encourage people to see your content, to engage with it, hopefully, obviously, and to not just see you as buy this, buy this, buy this, because it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
But we see often, don't we? I was showing you one the other day, and I feel bad for it as well when I see them because I know what they're thinking, what they're going through.
Yeah.
So when you scroll through their Instagram feed, it was like every other post was sale now on 20% off, 50% off, buy this, get it.
Yeah.
I thought, those things and the engagement on those, it's just non-existent.
Yeah.
People, it's social media. Okay, so be social first,
Hmm.
provide value. Everything we just spoke about from point one, isn't it? But then drop the odd sales post, one or two a week. And that sales post as well doesn't have to be a big image saying, buy this here, it's an advert, this is wonderful, come and buy it. It can be something really subtle. It can be a educational based
Hmm.
post. It's like, this is how to get the best out of your wax. Da, 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 da. By the way, at the moment we've got a current offer on this. Blah, blah, blah. click our
Yeah.
link in bio.
And if it's like that, it feels more natural, more real, and people are going to be interested to watch the content to start with, and they're going to be more engaged with it, and then they're going to be, oh, hang on, I'll have a look at that sale then.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
it captures their imagination, it captures their attention. They're interested in it. They've been watching it all the way through, so they're more invested than just a big picture that says 20% off.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No,
That doesn't work. When that it doesn't work if you do it often.
no.
When it does work is if you do it once or twice a year.
And you've built up that hype and the excitement for a sales event, not just a single image of 20% off and that's it.
Exactly. When we had Cozy Romers, one thing that we were very good at was certainly on Facebook. Facebook over Instagram for us, especially because that was just our focus at the
Yeah.
time, was building that engagement on organic content on social on Facebook, and it was behind the scenes stories, tips, all of that kind of stuff.
All of the stuff that we're talking about now.
Yeah, talking about products. And then when we did say, right, guys, look, we've got a sale on now, or we've just launched a product, click
Hmm.
here, you've built up that engagement. They haven't been sold to every day or every other
No.
day. And they're much more interested and they
Hmm.
actually care about what you have to offer. And when you do that, it makes those posts much more impactful.
Yeah, and we planned our posts when we were going to sell something on a Friday evening, for instance. The from Wednesday onwards would have been talking about what's coming and teasing them, sharing behind the scenes of the products being made, and then when it came to launch, they already knew what the product was. They knew how exciting it was. They knew how many there were and how limited the product was. So they jumped straight at it. They set their alarms and got up early deliberately to get it if they were asleep or anything like that.
Yeah,
So you build up that hype and that excitement for a launch,
yeah,
and you get that engagement, but also you get sales through it as well over
yeah,
time.
and you do. But here's the thing, guys, that does take time to build up.
Yeah.
Okay, don't expect that to happen within a month. This is time. This is being consistent and and always showing up, providing value, and making it interesting for people. What would you engage with? If you kept seeing a brand posting 20% off this all the time, you're going to lose interest over time. So that's point two there, which is we call it the 3-to-1 rule for engagement, which is three high value good posts, one sales post, which basically means you're doing two a week. But that's maximum, actually.
Maximum. Yeah,
Maybe
don't go
even
over that.
just make sure you're only doing one a week.
More value than anything else, isn't it? That's the most
Exactly.
important thing.
That's right. Yep.
So, point 3, be the first to start conversations. Now, this is something that I do a lot, all day, every day, pretty much, is engage with other followers and other people's followers as well. So, look through your explore page and you will find people that Instagram recommends that you engage with. So, you can click on their profile, comment on a few of their posts, follow them, and then when they reply to your comments, start a conversation. And then hopefully they'll follow you as well, and they'll just keep a conversation going, and then they'll be more likely to see your content. And if you do that every day and aim for 50 or 100 different Instagram profiles, you'll build your following organically with people that are more engaged with you as well.
So this works exceptionally well for us, doesn't it?
It does.
So obviously, Home Fragrance Academy, we're working with other home fragrance businesses. So what do you do there?
So I would look on the explore page and I would search candle making or candles, wax melts, any sort of key word like that where people are obviously selling their products and talking about their products, and then I would find followers that way. So I would use the search bar, search for say candle making for instance, and then Instagram will pull up all of the posts that related to candle making. I'd click on the first post. If it's not somebody I already follow, I'll go through their profile or their top 3 posts. I'd comment on them, ask them a question. I'd compliment something that they've got there as well, give them some tips, and then I'd follow them.
So what's the key there for when you're commenting on these posts? So what you're saying is, okay, so put this into real world example for our followers, the people listening to this here. What would they do?
So as you're a home fragrance company yourself, you need to search for people that are in your niche. So people that are going to be using your products. So look at your followers you've already got and look at what other types of content that they engage with. So what other big brands do they like to follow? Go onto there and then find your followers that way.
Okay, so I'm a candle maker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Instagram. I open
Mm-hmm.
up Instagram. I mean, I don't really understand what is that I'm actually doing here. What am I doing? Who am I going to? What am I clicking on?
You're obviously trying to find your ideal customer, aren't you? So you should
Correct.
already know who your ideal
That's
customer
right.
is. So what other brands do they like? What other high street brands do they follow?
Okay.
What other shops do they like to shop in other than the home fragrance
And then
brands?
you would go to that account, that
Yeah,
shop, and then go to their followers
yeah,
and click on a follower. Make
yeah,
sure it's a real person.
yeah.
Like their top three posts, and then
Comment
comment
on
on them.
them, ask questions, and then follow them as well.
Okay, so when it comes to commenting,
hmm
what sort of comments would you do if, as a candle maker?
I would compliment something about their home in their picture, and I'd ask them a question about something to do with their setup and what sort of fragrances do you like to use in this room, and then you can start to build. Hopefully, they'll reply. You can start to build engagement that way, and you can say something like, "Oh, I love this fragrance as well," that sort of thing. Get some conversation going with them,
Yeah, cool. And then you'd follow them.
and then you'd follow them as well. Yeah.
All right. And I'm assuming you're hoping that they follow you back.
You are hoping they'd follow you back. Typically, I found that they engage with you first. So they'll answer your comments first, and then you engage with them back and have a little bit of a conversation, and then they're likely to follow you back.
Okay. And then what would you do?
And then I would just repeat that
Okay.
as many times as I could as possible during
Okay.
the day.
But when someone follows you, what would you then do with that person? Do you just leave them and let them engage with content, or what do
Oh
you do?
no, obviously they're going to engage with your content you're hoping, but send them a personalised message and introduce yourself properly and just sort of that you want to make that connection kind of thing. So don't sell to them, but just introduce yourselves personally and refer to something that you've been talking about in your comments as well.
Yeah, make it personalised, but it's also a good opportunity just to put a little PS at the end and saying,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but we've got this no-brainer offer, or don't say that, but you've
Mhm.
got this buy one get one free offer for first-time customers.
Yeah.
Thought you might be interested. Something like that. Don't make the whole message about selling this product. Make it unique to them. Refer to that conversation. Say hi, introduce yourself, all this kind of stuff that you've just said, but then put a little PS of the offer
Yeah.
you've got there as well. Okay. So, and you do that. How often do you reckon these people should do that?
Try and aim for 50 accounts a day, because then the more accounts obviously that you engage with, the more engaged hopefully your followers are going to be, because they're going to be starting to follow you from that engagement. So they're going to be the perfect warm audience, aren't they?
Yeah. And how long would you say that people should spend on this?
A good few hours a day, because but you don't have to do it all in one massive chunk. You can break it up so that you do it around whatever else you're doing already in the business.
So I think when people are listening to this, they're starting their home fragrance business, they're getting it off the ground.
hmm
They have got kids they've got to take to school, then feed and deal with afterwards. During the day, they're obviously busy making their products, shipping orders out, stuff. Where are they going to find those multiple hours in a day to do this, do you think?
You could literally do it in between tasks. So you could say, I'm going to aim for 5 accounts right now while I'm waiting for this wax, these candles to set. So you sit down, you think I've got probably 25-30 minutes. So sit there and engage for that 25-30 minutes. So then you've done 5 accounts properly. And then you're sorting out your candles, you're doing your dispatch and everything, and you've got another lull before the school run. Do another half an
Yeah.
hour. Break it
I
up so it
see,
fits in with.
this does work, and it is very good. But I think spending multiple hours a day on it is just not realistic for most people. So I think there's probably much quicker ways of doing this, um, and I think people just need to try and work that out. And yeah, doing it first thing in the morning, in the evening when you're laying in bed, instead of watching that Netflix program, do some of this. I mean, we can attest to the fact that it works because we
Yeah.
do it for Home Fragrance Academy, but we don't want to scare people off by saying they need to spend half the day doing it.
No, you break it up to fit it into your routine.
Okay, so yeah, that's what point three is all about: is being the first to start that conversation and like how to do it really. When you do
Hmm.
that, you'll notice your engagement goes through the roof. This is something you've been working hard on for about 4 weeks,
Yeah.
and we're already seeing our followers increase quite significantly,
Hmm.
and the amount of engagement we're getting starting to increase. But more importantly, those profile views and taps through to the website and email signups is the key thing there.
Hmm.
That's the main thing we want, and it's working, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And the good thing about it is it's organic, it's strategically organic, isn't it? So it means we're not having to pay for it. So it's not like doing it through ads and
Yeah,
stuff. So
exactly. Good. Okay.
yeah. Okay, so point four, stories are the easiest way to build connections. So stories are really good because you can get a lot of feedback from your customers and from your followers, and you can find out what they actually want, can't you? So you can use polls, you can show behind the scenes as well to get them to follow like countdowns for launches. So there's lots of stickers on there that you can use.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want to do, isn't it? We always say that you constantly want to have a story on there.
Hmm.
There always there needs to be at least one story on your profile. Because when people add a story, it moves them to the beginning of the list. When you first go on their Instagram, if you go to Instagram on your feed, at the top you've got the little round circles of all of the profiles.
Hmm.
The one at the beginning is the one that's got the newest story. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So you want to try and be there basically, but you don't want to
Yeah.
overdo it. 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days perfect because and you space it out during the day a little bit as well if you could, and use your stories to ask your customers things about what they want, what sorts of things they're using, encourage them to
So
click on the
so give
stickers.
some examples of that as a candle
Hmm.
home fragrance business. What would you post?
So I've done it before where I've posted like behind the scenes clip of candles being made, just picture of the candle being poured, and it's ask a question: what fragrance would do you hope this is?
Hmm.
And then people will answer the questions with sent ideas of what they want it to be, and then you can then reply directly to that person in a message if you wanted to, or you can actually repost it on the story and be like, oh no, not this time, or yes, you've got it right, to keep building that
Yeah,
engagement.
and that's a really smart way of doing it actually.
Mm.
But I think the thing that's easiest to get engagement on stories are the polls, isn't it?
Yeah, the polls are the easiest because people don't have to write anything out or think anything. They can just choose an option. So you can put a picture up of 3 of your best sellers that week and say, right, these are our best sellers. Which is your favourite out of them? And then put the list there and they just choose their favourite.
And so what would you do then if you did that and there was 10 people that answered that poll? What would you do?
So you can then reply to those people individually as a message, and you can say, right, oh, thank you so much for engaging with my story. I'm so glad that you love the raspberry fragrance. Just so you know, we've got this special deal on today, or something like that, so that they can see that you've saw what they actually engaged with, you've answered them, and you've pointed out what they've actually said, and then you're giving them an offer.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it, isn't it?
Mm.
If that was me, I would reply and say, "Oh, I'm so pleased you like this raspberry fragrance. We're actually giving a free raspberry wax melt away today with orders over £20. Go to your website, spend 20 quid, you get a free raspberry wax
There you go.
melt.
And when you do it in a message as well, you can actually put a link in as well.
There we are. So that's it. And stories are good, aren't they? I mean, that's a quick way of
Hmm.
building engagement. You have to be on it. You have to think about it.
Yeah.
But you just turn it into a daily habit.
Yeah. Be strategic with it when you're thinking about launching a next collection. Ask your customers what they actually want, what type of fragrances they want, and what sort of scent notes that they like around that time of the year as well. So you can use it to gather feedback for your research.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So the next point is ask better questions in captions. So don't just post your reel and say this is coming soon. Ask a question to try and get your audience to answer it to get more engagement on your posts. So we've got a couple of ideas here. Which scent would you choose? or what's your go-to self-care ritual, and how and can you help me name this candle as well? So those sorts of questions are good because your customer or your follower is likely to engage with those sorts of questions.
Yeah.
So you want to try and make sure that you've got something like that, a question for on most of your content, so that you can encourage that engagement.
Yeah, and don't just put it in, I don't think just put it in captions either. Do it as a reel. Maybe ask, you know that reels only have a short lifespan or short attention span. People need to sort of, they'll only watch, although they'll be hooked in after the first few seconds.
Yeah.
So maybe ask the question at the beginning. So, for example, the very first couple of seconds is, can you help me name this candle? And then say, it smells like this, 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 this. This is what it looks like. Give me name suggestions, that kind of thing. And the other way to get comments and stuff is to leave a comment for something or other. So, for example, us at HFA, we use a tool called ManyChat.
Yeah.
And that's a tool, you've probably heard of it. It plugs into Instagram, and then you can trigger automatic DMs to people that comment on your post. So we'll say, if you want this free sales surge document where we give you 5 ways in which you can get more sales this week, comment HFA below. Everyone who comments HFA will automatically get a message to them with the link to that document, and they'll automatically get a reply on the comment that they placed, just saying check your DMs. So that's a good way of getting things as well, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, ask questions. That's what you want to do. Every single question, or even, well, every comment, but certainly every question that you get, you should reply to.
Yep.
And ideally, ask another question if you can to get that engagement going.
Yeah, so you can keep up that ball rolling almost.
The more comments your post gets, the further it will reach, and the more it will positively impact your subsequent posts as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the more engagement on any of your posts, the better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So next, reshare customer content and tag them. So user-generated content that your customers have posted and tagged you in is pretty much invaluable, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it shows real people using your products and real feedback and customers that actually love your product. So sharing that is invaluable, really, and you can use it across other platforms as well. Use it in your email marketing as well.
Yeah.
And that's something that you do as well, isn't it? That you always used to do with Cozy Aromas, was share the screenshots of like the customers' testimonials with their photos.
Yeah, exactly. So on Instagram, if you're tagged in a post, okay, reshare it in your stories, tag them in your stories.
Thank them for it. Make sure you comment on the post.
And then the place where you're going to really get some good user generated content is your Facebook group. Because people will, because that's much more community based, of course, it is. That's where people will share pictures of their deliveries. They'll share pictures of their warmers, because they'll say, tonight I'm melting this raspberry fragrance and it's wonderful, blah, blah, blah. That is a screenshot worthy thing. Just screenshot all of them and have a bank on your phone that you can then use in carousels, you can use on stories, you can do all sorts of things with them. But that's, I think sometimes people don't really understand just how important they are. Because the more pictures, real pictures and screenshots you've got of posts that your customers have made of using your products with a glowing review, even if they just say this smells wonderful,
That's still a glowing review.
that is so valuable because it shows other people that, firstly, when you're buying online, is the first main thing is trust. Is this a scam? Blah, blah, blah. They can see lots of people using your products. Okay, it's real for starters. Oh, and it looks like they're pretty good as well because they've got loads of customers. All these customers are saying how wonderful it is. I like the sound of this product. Oh, let's look at their profile. Oh, yeah, that looks like something I'd be interested in. They mention a no-brainer offer. There's a link to that offer. Bang.
Yeah.
That's
Sounds easy
that's
when
how
you
it
lay it
works.
out like that.
Well, yeah, it does, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, okay. So it is actually quite straightforward. But of course, there's a lot of steps before that.
Yeah.
You need to build that following. You need to have customers who are going, and you need to have this Facebook group where people are going to post stuff like that. But over time, it's a snowball effect.
Yeah, it becomes easier.
It becomes easier over time, yeah, because the more people you've got in there, the more customers. the more of this stuff you can share. The more of this stuff you share, the more customers you'll get.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes easier and snowballs up, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and it's easy content as well. It's something you don't have to think too much about because it's already been created for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, next one we've got is create a weekly engagement plan. Now that's a good idea, isn't it? Because you want to make sure that you're not just reacting and just thinking, oh, I haven't posted anything today, like we mentioned earlier. You need to be strategic in what you're posting and plan it ahead.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Just make a plan, basically. It doesn't. We don't want to make it sound complicated at all. It's not, is it? So on a Monday, do a story-based poll, and that's obviously a really good way of building that engagement. As we said earlier on, schedule it from Instagram, and we've already said that stories are a brilliant way of building connection. You should tell stories a lot, all the time. Um, And stories don't have to be these in-depth, paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of
No.
life stories. It could be the story behind a fragrance. It
Yeah.
could be a story of how you packaged up 100 orders last week.
Mm-hmm.
Though you can really break it right down. It's just when you say story, I think people think it's like something massive and really complex. It's not. It's just how you did something, really.
Yeah.
Do that with a poll on there. Ask a question at the end. Get people to engage. On Tuesday, you've got an idea here, which I'm reading now, which is
Yeah.
a reel with a relatable caption. So, what would that be?
So it could be, now thinking about a home fragrance one, it could be like something to do with, oh, does your cushion smell? Have you got pets and stuff? And you can see images of pets moving in the background, and you're worried you've got guests coming around.
Yeah,
Get a room spray out, squirt the curtains and things like that. So it shows your product being used in a real life situation,
yeah,
and it's relatable because a lot of your customers are likely to have pets and worry about people coming around and it smelling.
yeah. There you go. So you'll schedule that on a Tuesday.
You can also do behind the scenes content, which is something that we talk about a lot. So just think about next time you're making some products, set your camera up on a time lapse. Just clips of you setting out your candles, pouring them, chopping the wicks, wiping them, putting your labels on. That's all things that you do every day that you don't really think much about, but that content is really engaging for your audience.
It is, and that's the thing. I mean, when we did Cozy Aromas, back in 2019, there wasn't too many brands like us that were doing as much behind the scenes content as we were,
No, we stood out.
and it really helped us. These days, it's still very important and it's still very good. But of course, it loses its impact a little bit because more and more people are doing it. But it's still certainly a lot more engaging than posting product photos.
Yeah.
But one thing that people don't do enough of, and if you did this, you will notice a significant improvement in engagement on that particular post. And that is a video, unedited face on video of you talking about something. It doesn't have to be funny. You haven't got to do any silly dances. None of these hack things that you see on TikTok and all that kind of stuff. It's just a photo or a video of you talking about a particular fragrance or you about a particular launch you've got upcoming, asking questions. And then you do the same thing, but photos as a carousel.
Yeah.
And then as a static image of you answering some questions or talking about a particular fragrance. You need to get yourself, ideally, if you want to boost engagement and stuff like that, get yourself on camera a bit.
Yeah.
I know some people sort of are a bit reserved in that situation. And I absolutely get it. We were as well.
I used to be terrified of it.
Some people don't want to do it, and that's fine if you don't want to do it. But all I'm saying is that is the way to really get engagement. If you're really suffering with engagement at the moment and sales are low and you're just wondering what's going to happen, you need to try different things.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend trying that for a few weeks.
And if you're already not getting hardly anything engagement wise, your post isn't likely to be seen straight away. So get started now, get better at it being on front of the camera, and then by the time that you're comfortable with it, you're going to be getting the engagement.
There you go. That's a good tip. Cool. Well, there's quite a few bits there to go through, wasn't there?
There certainly is quite a few different tips and sort of bits of advice there.
Yeah. So I think I hope you all found that very useful. Tamer was running through those really well and got some really good ideas. These are all stuff that we use at the moment
Yep.
for HFA, and we're seeing some significant improvements in engagement. And more importantly, these are now converting into email subscribers, which
Yep.
are then converting into customers and members
Yep.
for us. It works.
It certainly does. So make sure you use the advice and the tips in here. Re-listen to this podcast as well when you're getting into a bit of a slump now and again, and take some notes and start making changes.
Absolutely. Head on over to homefragrance.academy. That's our website where you can see all of the stuff we do. We've got free resources there, whether you're starting out or you're trading but you need some sales because sales are really slow, or if you're in a position where you're ready to scale up, then we've got 3 free resources for you. And help yourself to have a look at what we do. Maybe become a member, join our Facebook group,
Yep.
Home Fragrance Academy community, and we'd love to chat with you.
We certainly will. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See ya.